So come on in, take a sip. Let's wind down, and a happy Thursday to everyone. My name is Christopher. I am delighted that you are here to help me solve this grid. And somebody hasn't been to the wine store in a while, and that someone is speaking to you right now. And so we're having yet another Negroni because I need to go stock up on some vino probably this evening or tomorrow at the latest on my way home. Something. It's not, after all, we don't call it Negroni down with Christopher in the New York Times Crossword, no way. But there is a wine product in here. It's the sweet vermouth, and it is quite lovely. And again, I was highlighting yesterday, I make mine a little heavier on the Campari side, so I get this really deep red color. I'm trying to find a place there. You can kind of see it there in the background. It's just a wonderful drink, and it's great year round. So really do like that stuff very much. Negroni is one of my favorite cocktails, outflanked maybe by a Sazerac or a Manhattan, and on occasion an old fashioned. So the dictionary.com word of the day is intelligentsia. And this is an intellectuals. These are when intellectuals are considered an elite group or a class of people, which I think is probably correct. It's one of those words that I use almost in a secondary or a tertiary fashion, right? You know, I would probably almost always refer, if I was going to try to find, I was going to use a word like intelligentsia, I would probably just refer to it as the Brahmin, you know, and then use the intelligentsia later, to keep from being redundant, right? You know, so there's always that piece to it. And so I really think that's something else. But on this day in history, and boy, I tell you what, if you go back in time, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, emperors being assassinated and, Henry VIII occupying Boulogne. It's all kinds of crazy stuff going on there. But I found a particular note that Charles Louis Tiffany and his co-founder actually opened up Tiffany's on this day in 1837, and I think it was originally marketed as a stationery and fancy goods emporium. And I can honestly say, I would say that's a lot of what it still is. So interesting enough there. That was 1837, but in 1915, Jeeves and Bertie Wooster made their first appearance, and fabulous, especially if you're a big fan like I am of P.G. Wodehouse. If you ever read him at all, Extricating Young Gussie was the first book that I ever read of his, and I just think he's one of the finest. I mean, I've always been a bit of a British literature snob, but he was just funny, and I got the humor even at like 12 years old. I got it, and I still like to re-listen to them, like when I'm driving long distances or whatever. I've got all of the Wodehouse books that I could get in audio format, and so that's kind of a wonderful thing. But that was in 1915. And then in 1952, on this day, a little girl was born in Heidelberg, Deutschland, here in Germany, just about a 3-hour drive away in Baden-Württemberg. And her name was Hope Lottie Lou. And that's my Mutti. That's a German word for mama. So that's my mom, my mama, my Mutti. And so, there's this picture of her putting a bottle in my mouth to shut up. I think that's what she told my wife when we first got married. Like, hey, if he starts getting cranky, just throw a bottle in his face, right? You know, of course, we were probably talking wine or whiskey, but nevertheless, she knew. But she has absolutely grown from a beautiful young woman into a beautiful young woman to this day. And she has always been the genuine caliber of elegance in so many ways to me. When I think of elegant people, I think of Mutti. So, happy birthday, Mutti. I was almost said it in German. Alles gut zum Geburtstag, meine Mutti. Ich liebe dich so sehr. Love you. Have a wonderful day. And may your special day be awesomeness. So, we'll go ahead and hop into our grid now. So, our grid today was constructed by Adam Wagner. Okay, this is going to be fantastic. Of course, edited by Will Shorts, and that as you know, if you've been doing these for a while, there was a while we didn't have him. Don't get me wrong, I mean, great stand-in, there was no question about that, but it's just really nice to have Will Shorts back at the helm. And so, yeah, to you, Mr. Shorts, let's hop into our grid and see what we got for the day. I'm excited about it. Thursday's that gateway day. Usually we get rebuses or something, or rebuy. I forgot we started a movement. Mea culpa. So, customizable all in one Internet Digest. Isn't that a RSS feed or something like that? Takes turns, game played on an 8x8 board. Just looking for an anchor here. We could be guessing, but I'd rather have an anchor and then we can get a little crazy. Meditation chant in a sense. Variety of bark with a question mark. I'm going with an ARF. Seems like a pretty good place to anchor. Let's see what we can do with that. Takes turns. One might say big savings all week. So Rosh Hashanah horns would be shofars. I always wanted to blow the shofar, but yeah. No, probably wouldn't have been a good idea. So, school with a satellite campus in Calexico, and I don't know, but if I had to guess, considering the location, maybe San Diego State University, and aren't they the Aztecs in football? I'm not sure if that's not just football, but their sporting mascot into the Aztecs, I think. Curved lines on sheet music. I just love this. I love it when slurs show up, and the nice kind. You know, those are great. Gave a sneak preview of could be teased. I got a little bit of a teaser going on today. So takes turns. I'm thinking rotates. Which means that I think that one across is that RSS feed we were talking about, and then our 8x8 tiles probably go to Othello, a game I have not played since I was maybe early teens. I had a teacher that liked to ground me, so to speak, make me stay after class or make me come in during, whatever, recess and crap. And this, I think they were just looking for somebody to play Othello with. That's what we did. It wasn't weird or anything. I don't know what's going on with meditation chant. And I guess we got to be kind of careful. We've got this in italics here, and we are in rebuy heaven on Thursdays, right? So, but one might say big savings all week. How about a store ad? Was kind of leaning towards that. Counterparts of countesses in British peerage, and those would be earls. Gets away from, maybe eludes. And like some nouns, could be feminine, and a nickname for the medieval Spanish knight Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar, and that would be El Cid. And I think his name in Arabic is Asaid. Asaid. Yeah, I think that's it. I have to double check myself. Mideast capital. Okay, Doha. Been there. Actually, a beautiful place in many, many ways. Some of those homes are just fabulous. And it seems like their backyards are all the front yards, and all their front yards have these big walls going around them. It's quite beautiful, ornate. I mean, just really beautiful architecture in the Middle East. I really want to get back there. I'd love to go back to Iraq at some point, but I'm trying to wait until it might be cool for me to do so. I'd love to go in civilian clothes. I mean, I fell in love with the people and the culture, the food, the music. Gosh, so yeah, I'd like to do that again one day. Something you might change on a bed could be a diaper. And I do. I pronounce that A. It's ever so slightly. Diaper. That little through there. Diaper. I say it really fast. Diaper. but I also say Wednesday. So, and I know it's Wednesday, but I say Wednesday. I don't know. That just makes me weird, and I'm cool with that, really. I don't care. It's fine. Holders of winnings. Okay, we got a challenging little grid here today is what we've got. This is not going to be one of these rollovers. I was just lamenting to my wife, it's not too easy. And it's not. It's perfect. So I'm happy about it. Victorious military underdog in the Bible shoots for the stars. I'm thinking Gideon. Shoots for the star. Well, because David ain't gonna fit, and I'm thinking shoots for the stars could be, if that's Gideon, it could be goes big. And it reminds me of what a certain colonel of mine used to tell me on my 5th and final combat deployment: go hard or go home. Now he was talking about the gym, and that was my first deployment where I wasn't outside the wire doing outside the wire stuff, kicking indoors and pulling triggers. That was the deployment where I got to be what we call a fob locust. I lived on the fob, very rarely left it, and I was able then to go get all the good stuff from the little post exchange without having to get the stupid leftover stuff, right? So I could go get that while all the others were outside the wire. And I went to the gym like 3 times a day too. It's good to be a staff officer. It was good, yes. So victorious military. That's right. We're talking about Gideon. Sorry, forget myself sometimes. Sports bet placed on total points scored, and I guess we're talking about an over/under. And I don't honestly understand any of that mess. I just don't. I don't get it. They're favored to win by whatever, but that shows that with a minus sign. I mean, I just don't get how any of that works. I'd rather take a postgraduate level, class in calculus. At least I might be able to figure that out. I just don't think I'll ever understand odds making, betting in general. I mean, can we just say, hey, I bet they're going to win? That's me, right? And that's what I know. So. Point spreads and sister of Helios in Greek myth. How about Eos? And thumbs down from me. I vote no. Who was that guy on 60 Minutes many years ago? Was it Andy Rooney? You know what really grinds my gears? That guy was on. I don't know. I look at the back of cereal boxes every morning when I'm eating. He's always going on. I vote no. I could just hear him saying that. Barrier to entry, perhaps. We have an S and a T. We can go with a style. Blank Ulrich, Metallica drummer, is Lars. And I don't know. I pretty much thought that was it Kirk Hammett? James Hetfield, yeah. But Lars was just a pretty cool dude. He always seemed like the one that would be the most squared away. Like the most... like the straight one, the straight guy in the group. But I'm sure that was all of them because they're all multi-billionaires or something by now, and they might have had a good time, but I think they were more like, I don't know, sought after, maybe desired. And I wasn't a metalhead by any stretch, but I did appreciate everything. I mean, every music out there, with the exception, of course, the blues and bluegrass. But I really liked all music. But Metallica, a few songs I really thought were really pretty great. Chewed Out could be berated. Now, my darling bride, who's reading right behind me right now, she was a metalhead. She was into that stuff. Rat, Poison, and L.A. Guns, all that stuff. I mean, that was her thing. You know what I mean? She was that one out in the audience, banging her head. They had the big hair and all that stuff. Yeah, and I was this little preppy punky kid, listening to Dead or Alive. Slothfulness. Oh, okay. Do we have inertia here? I like it. If it is, what do we got here? One in Bonn. Ein? Yeah. Ich spreche ganz gut Deutsch. Genau. Fortuitous gift. It looks like it might be a godsend. And thin gum, a thingum. Got it. Thin gum. It's like, whoa, what is that? No, it's a thingum. How about a doodad? Doodad. Someone got their feelings hurt. Oh, da day. Multiple choice catch-all. I'm gonna maybe go with an other here and promptly check because I don't know. Got Hong Kong making an appearance today. Check our E, then we'll get back up to it. See, borderer of the Indian state of Sikkim, and that would be Nepal. Geography nerds, unite. France's third largest city after Paris and Marseille, and that would be Lyon. And so what do we got here now? So we got a tennis do-over in a way, which is looking like it's going to be roulette. Okay. And then we've got meditation chant in a sense. Too much. Okay. Holders of winnings. Let's see. Equine hybrid would be I think it's a hinny. And I can't remember what's the order with that. So you get a male donkey's a jack. Sometimes they go by their last name too, is jackass. And then you have a female donkey, which is a Jenny ass, I guess. Biblical term is what they call them. But apparently if you take a male donkey and you breed it with a female mare, you get a mule, maybe? And then it's a male horse with a female Jenny, you get a hinny. But I could have that completely backwards. I don't know. So, it's not as confusing, though, as the Liger is in Napoleon Dynamite. Same. Holders of winnings. Okay, so now I'm thinking we probably have maybe holders, maybe prize. I don't know. Goal to shoot for. Okay, par. So maybe prize pots. Not to be confused with pepper pots. Bar from the bank. Okay, I'm thinking an ingot, but I don't know why the question mark there. Interesting. Large chemical container. I'm thinking of that. And Superman portrayer Christopher in so many words. Well, first of all, I love his name. I love the late Christopher Reeve's first name. Wonder why. It's an ancient name. It's a beautiful name. It is gorgeous. So, I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. Inside of could be a med. No, so maybe this is a rare event. Arcade staple with a joystick. No idea. Terse reply to why? Cuz. And that's what my cousins call me. Cuz. What? What a quinkydink. Quality to which a unique 6-character code is assigned in graphic design. Oh, I might know something about that. That's a hue. And I do believe we do have a rare event, maybe. Unless I'm wrong. Hiccups coming. Arcade staple with a joystick. I guess maybe this is the crane. What is that thing called? It's the crane what? The claw. The crane claw? I don't even know.
It's the claw, I think.
The claw, yeah. I mean, but I got too many letters. Yeah, but see, I've got like, 5 and 4. I got 9 letters there, so I don't know what this is. Spread some dirt. So it could be dished. If it's spread is in past tense. It could be, if it's present perfect, maybe gossip. Garden guardians, good gnomes. Okay, so I think we got gossip. Assuming I'm not going down the wrong rabbit hole here altogether. This is altogether possible. Italy's third largest city after Rome and Milan, and Roma, Milano. So, and I'm thinking we're talking about Napoli, but since we're spelling it anglicized, I'm going to go with Naples. In Napoli, where you always... Who wrote existentialism is a humanism, and that would be a Jean-Paul Sartre. And if you've not seen the show that they made, I don't remember, was it called just Julia? Maybe it was about Julia Child. It was so good. I think I got it on Amazon. I don't know. I mean, we have 1,000 streaming services because it saves so much money over basic cable. But the point is that, well, yeah, of course, Madam Pragmatic back there is like, it doesn't really save us any money anymore at all. I'm like, well, that was part of my irony. I get the sarcasm, right? It's the sarcasm I was doing, but I'm not always very good at communicating that. Or she's just going to be that fastidious pragmatist that's going to make sure it's clear to everyone that it's not cheap. And I love that about her. Tomato. It's perfect. Ascertained bit by bit could be gleaned. Do some storytelling. Maybe narrate. Seemed like that might have been a good clue for something about lying. Gershwin brother. Well, I'm not going to be able to fit George in here. So let's go with Ira. And kind of illusion. How about optical? Action star jet in a nutshell. Is it a pelican? I mean, I'm just not giving this enough time, I don't think, today. Play fight, I guess, could be to spar, but I can tell you right now, if you are ever a serious martial artist, sparring is not necessarily playing. I mean, it can hurt. Invader's tactic, siege. I think we got a pelican here. If you ask me, in my opinion, maybe. So, like some shoes at a cobbler's resold. Close contemporary age mate. And we have a pelican. Okay. Do we have a crane game? Is that what they call this thing? I mean, what is with this? This is a weird puzzle. I'm not quite sure I'm getting it. Muscle car whose name evokes a U.S. road trip. And I have to admit, this was the car of my dreams when I was 7 years old. Ever since I saw Burt Reynolds and and Gidget, whatever, Sally Fields, rolling around in that thing, right? It was the coolest car. I mean, it still looks cool if you watch that movie, which is a horrible movie to watch just because it's just terrible. I mean, it was cool at the time, but you watch it now, it's kind of like, oh, God, that was bad. Jackie Gleason, did you really have to do that to yourself? But he made up for it with Nothing in Common with Tom Hanks a few years later. So, 2 thumbs up. I think we had a crane game. But that Trans Am was the coolest thing. Was it the T-tops? And it had those gold, I don't know what kind of rims they were. Maybe they were stock. Seemed like they were like BBS or something, but really cool rims. I mean, it was just a cool car. And I wanted a CB too, because we all had CBs. My parents did anyway. Its youngest host was a 7-year-old Drew Barrymore in 82. And I remember actually being able to stay up. I was 10 years old. I remember staying up and watching that. That was funny. Words before a contingency plan. If I had to guess, I'd say if not. But I don't know. Double O and triple O in chess notation would be the castles. Castles. Don't worry about the check. It's on me. First person could be self. Passport or driver's license in a manner of speaking. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could sit here and look at this forever and figure out what's going on. I'm just hoping that we actually get through this because I haven't felt the need to put in a rebus yet. And if it's wrong, this is going to be some work. So remember, there is a speed switch there. You can hit it to where it go faster if you need it to. Credit card, so to speak, and be plastic. And accident. So passport or driver's license in a manner of speaking. An accent. IDs in the middle. Okay, I think I'm getting this now. We'll take a look at it when we figure it out and we're admiring our puzzle. Steeplechase unit. I thought leg at first, but then I'm thinking, no, we're probably doing laps here. And so U.S. history or calculus BC as an example would be an AP class. Heart pumping stuff would be plasma. Constellation whose name is Latin for lizard, and Lacertis is lizard. Yes, so Lacerta. I don't know. How did we do, Bob? I really feel like this might have been by the hair of my chinny chin chin, but let's take a look here. So our first one was here. And so meditation chants in a meditation chant, Christopher. It's a chant. So and then touch. I'm getting it here. And so tennis do over. So in a way would be the route or the route, and I say both indiscriminately. It's just whatever comes out of my mouth, very strangely enough. Route 66, let's take this route to this. I don't really, but I get it. So we have a let inside of the route. The reeve and rant in so many words. So this is really very good stuff. And let's see, do we have any others on there? Yes, we figured that one out too. Anyway, very interesting. But I wanted to say is if you haven't seen that show with about Julia Child, and then whatever his name was, I can't remember. I mean, I would know it if it was in a crossword because I get a couple of letters I remember. But the fellow that played Fraser Crane's brother, Niles, he played the husband of Julia Child. And anyway, the publisher of the French cookbook that Julia Child put together, she was also the publisher to Jean-Paul Sartre, as well as many others. She was like one of the most famous publishers on the planet back then, and I think it was in the 60s and whatnot. And anyway, it's just a great show, but they have some wonderful scenes with the Sartre in there, and it's really very cool things. I mean, I love that to death. And so with that said, action star jet in a nutshell. So we've got Lee in a pecan. So I'm loving that very, very much. This is a really cool puzzle here today, Adam Wagner. Well done, good sir. We'll go ahead and bring down our bannière d'adieu, and without any further ado, now that it's over, I'll have some more solver's courage. Maybe this is the fruits of our victory lap here or something. So, until we see you next time, ich wünsche Ihnen einen schönen Tag noch und noch einmal alles gut zum Geburtstag, Mutti. Ich liebe dich. Fantastisch. And we'll see you tomorrow. Just be well until then. And remember, those foreign accents that you encounter on a daily basis, there's people like my mother, and when she first got to the States, and my little Oma until the day that she died, right? They're just people like everybody else, right? Trying to make their way, trying to start a new life, and it takes guts to do it in a place where you don't habla the lingo. So, fabulous. Till we see you next time, tomorrow, be healthy and well. Love language. Love our strangers. Cheers.